We're back.
Yes, we're back. We are back. We're back.
Welcome to day one.
I think season 6 is asking more of me than any of the seasons have so far.
You can just feel the subject matter daily. And it's rough because
There's going to be so many more videos coming your way because season 6 is a heavy season, and we want to show you what we can of some of the incredible things that are happening this season on The Chosen.
The newest behind-the-scenes footage from The Chosen season 6 just broke everyone's hearts. You might think you're ready for what's coming, but this is different. The Scourging scene has already been filmed. The purple robe and the crown of thorns are no longer just props. And even though the crucifixion scene is being guarded like a sacred secret, the footage that has surfaced reveals the most painful chapter The Chosen has ever told. Jonathan Roumie, bloodied and exhausted, already looks unrecognizable. Fans on set say they couldn't stop crying. The field of crosses is real. The cold winds are real. The suffering is real. And what we're seeing now is only the beginning.
I don't have expectations. I try to just live in the moment and come here and say thank you.
It's getting rave reviews.
One of the top-rated and most talked-about shows on television.
If you thought Season 5 was emotional, Season 6 will leave you shaken. Let's start with what we do know, because even though the team behind The Chosen is keeping things quiet, too many heartbreaking moments have already made it to the surface. Just days ago, we got our first look at Jesus, Jonathan Roumie, wearing the crown of thorns and draped in a torn purple robe. In this behind-the-scenes moment, the robe is soaked with red, small bloodstains already forming across his shoulder and chest. Fans noticed quickly that it didn't look staged. The blood wasn't just makeup, it clung to him like it belonged there, like he had already been through something. According to people who were there during filming, the atmosphere shifted the moment this scene began. There was no joking, no laughter, no sound, just silence, because everyone knew they were filming the scourging of Jesus. Now, this isn't the official scourging scene, but it might as well be. Jonathan looked weak, barely standing. And what makes this moment even more emotional is that this isn't just a performance. Jonathan had been preparing for this scene for months. He's been losing weight. He's been reflecting. And now we see why. When Dallas Jenkins shared the image of him in costume, barely looking like the Jesus we've followed for 5 seasons, people online immediately said they couldn't stop crying. That one image triggered an emotional avalanche. And it should, because it means we're finally here. The story is reaching its most devastating point, but the pain doesn't stop there. In another leaked shot, we see a large crowd gathered. Some are yelling, some are just standing in stunned silence. Roman soldiers line the background. Peter is in the crowd, but you wouldn't notice him at first because he's wearing a dark hood trying to hide. This is the moment we've all feared. The denial is coming, and the way Peter is positioned in the footage, separate from the others, almost lost in the shadows, says everything. You can feel the fear. You can feel the shame. Fans believe this might be moments before he says the words he'll never forget. I don't know him. If that's true, we're in for one of the most emotionally shattering scenes the show has ever filmed. There's also a new detail that's making fans uneasy. While we haven't seen Jonathan on a cross yet, background actors have confirmed that dozens of crucifixion scenes are already being filmed. Not just 1 or 2, dozens, a whole field of crosses. People carrying the wood across a barren landscape. And it wasn't filmed in warm weather. According to reports, it was freezing cold. The actors were wrapped in nothing but cloth, trying to stay warm between takes. The Chosen team even asked fans to pray for them, because the conditions were so harsh and the scenes were so intense. If this is what it takes to tell the story right, they're doing it. But it's clear. Season 6 is not holding back. And still, the most painful part is knowing what hasn't been shown yet. The crucifixion scene with Jonathan hasn't been filmed, or if it has, it's being kept under the tightest security the production has ever enforced. Not a single photo, not a single comment. Fans on set say they haven't seen Jonathan at all during the crucifixion filming days. That either means his scene is still coming, or it was filmed entirely in private. And let's be honest, the crew knows how hard this will hit people. Even Dallas Jenkins has said that the crucifixion will be handled with extreme care. It's the moment the entire series has been leading toward. It's the moment that changes everything. But what's even more haunting is this. We've only seen slivers. little fragments of a much larger picture. The emotional weight hasn't fully landed yet, but it will. The betrayals are just beginning. The trials haven't even started. Judas is still out there. Peter's greatest failure is coming, and Jesus is walking straight into the storm. Season 6 isn't just another season, it's the fulfillment of every painful prophecy. And what's been revealed so far? It's already too much to bear. The weight of The Chosen Season 6 doesn't just rest on what we're seeing, it's in what we feel. And right now, fans are feeling something they never expected from a TV show: grief. Not just sadness, not just emotion, but actual grief. Because the story is shifting from miracles and wonder to betrayal, agony, and death. And the deeper we go, the more unbearable it becomes. What makes it even harder is the quiet buildup. This isn't a sudden jump to the cross. It's a slow, painful walk. Every scene is like a countdown, and that clock is ticking fast. Recent updates from the cast and crew confirm that Jesus' final week, the Last Supper, the trial, the scourging, and the crucifixion, is the main focus of the second half of Season 6. Which means what we've seen already is just the surface. We're still standing on safe ground, but not for long. The moment that really shook the fanbase, though, came from a single word: Gethsemane. That name appeared briefly in a production update, almost like it was hidden. But that one word was enough, because it confirms the garden scene is coming, and with it, the rawest breakdown of Jesus we've ever seen in this show. Gethsemane is where everything unravels. It's where Jesus falls to the ground, praying in agony, sweating blood, alone. And if Jonathan Rumi brings even a fraction of the emotional intensity we've seen in the behind-the-scenes scourging footage, then Gethsemane will destroy us. There is no comfort in this path, no lightness, no peace. It's heartbreak in every frame. And fans know it. That's why people are already saying they don't know if they can watch it. Not because it isn't powerful, but because it's too powerful. Even the actors are starting to speak differently about what's coming. Elizabeth Tabish, who plays Mary Magdalene, recently hinted that her scenes in this season were the hardest she's ever done. She didn't say why. She didn't say what they involved. But the look in her eyes during that interview told everything. Mary was there at the cross. Mary saw it all. And that's the weight Elizabeth is carrying now. Not just performance, but memory, trauma. The aftermath of watching someone she loves be tortured in front of her. You can't fake that. And The Chosen isn't trying to. They're leaning all the way in, because this story demands it. There's also growing tension around Judas. In past seasons, we've seen glimpses of his inner struggle, but this time, it's boiling over. Reports from the set say that the actor playing Judas, Luke Dimion, is filming solo scenes that feel almost like confessions. Moments where Judas is alone, thinking, breaking down. And fans believe these are the moments just before he turns Jesus in. The way The Chosen is building it. This isn't just a betrayal. It's a collapse, a soul unraveling. And when it finally happens, when Judas kisses Jesus in the garden, it's going to shatter every bond we've formed with these characters. Because we've seen them love each other. We've seen Judas hesitate. We've seen his eyes fill with regret. But it won't matter. The wheels are already turning, and we're racing toward the moment that breaks history in half. Then there's Peter. Oh, Peter, the most loyal, the most fierce, and the most human. You can already feel the storm brewing. Inside him, he's ready to fight, ready to defend, but we know what's coming. We know that in a matter of hours, he'll go from drawing a sword in the garden to cursing Jesus' name in front of strangers. And the worst part? He'll hear the rooster crow, the sound that will echo in his head forever. What Ewan startstand Chaplin. His doing here is brutal, but it's also brilliant, because they're not skipping the pain. They're letting us sit in it, letting us feel every step of Peter's collapse. And it's going to crush us. Everything about Season 6 feels like it's been turned up. The visuals, the silence, the stillness, the pain. Even the background actors are talking about how intense this season feels. One said that even though they were just part of the crowd, they couldn't stop shaking during one scene. Another said they had to walk away from the set because they couldn't stop crying. That's how raw this production is. And yet, the most powerful moments haven't even aired. We haven't seen the trial. We haven't seen Jesus fall under the weight of the cross. We haven't seen Mary's face as her son is nailed to wood, but we will. And when we do, the story won't just move us, it will break us. Because The Chosen isn't just telling the story of the crucifixion, it's making us feel it. Every step, every wound, every tear. As the days pass and more updates emerge, the tension around The Chosen Season 6 is becoming unbearable. Fans aren't just waiting, they're bracing for impact. And now, with confirmation that the crucifixion scenes are actively being filmed, there's a sense that we've crossed a line. There's no going back. Behind-the-scenes glimpses have surfaced showing the desolate hilltop where it all ends. Golgotha, the crosses, the dust, the stormy skies. But it's not the visuals that are haunting. It's the silence. The quiet that surrounds this part of the story feels like a funeral, because that's exactly what it is. We're walking into the darkest chapter of Jesus' life. And The Chosen is refusing to look away. They're not softening the blow. They're capturing it all, raw, bloody, and unfiltered. The Scourging footage that leaked was just a taste, and even that was hard to stomach. Jonathan Rumy's performance isn't just committed, it's transcendent. He's portraying a man crushed by the weight of the world, yet still choosing to carry it. The way his body breaks, the way his eyes flicker with pain and love at the same time, it's almost too much. Viewers are already posting emotional reactions online, saying they had to pause, cry, and walk away. And this is only the beginning, because what comes after the Scourging is even worse. The climb to Golgotha, the nails, the mocking, the final breath. And The Chosen is going to show it all. Not for shock, not for drama, but because this moment defines everything. This is where Jesus' mission reaches its agonizing climax. The emotional damage is spreading beyond just Jesus' suffering. Each disciple is unraveling in his own way. Matthew, who has grown from outsider to follower to beloved brother, is reportedly given some of the most emotional lines in the entire season. His grief, his confusion, and his heartbreak are all tied to one brutal realization. He couldn't. Stop it. None of them could. The man who changed their lives is being torn apart in front of them, and they are powerless. For Thomas, for Nathaniel, for John, this isn't just the death of their teacher, it's the death of hope. And the way the series is building it, we won't just see their pain, we'll feel it as our own. And what about Mary, the mother of Jesus? The pain that's coming for her character is beyond words. The show has always portrayed her with quiet strength, a peaceful presence in the chaos. But now, that peace is shattered. She's going to watch her son be dragged through the streets, beaten beyond recognition, and then nailed to a cross. And she'll be there, standing at the foot of it, watching, powerless. It's the ultimate heartbreak, and according to cast reports, those scenes were the hardest for everyone involved. The director reportedly asked for silence on set. No one spoke. No one moved, because the emotion was too real, the pain too deep. And once the cameras rolled, no one had to act. The tears you'll see in Mary's eyes, they're real. One of the most chilling updates came from a brief production note. He gave up his spirit. That phrase alone shook fans to the core, because it marks the exact moment Jesus dies. That line will appear in the final minutes of the Crucifixion episode, and everything before it is leading us to that one unbearable second, the moment the world breaks. The sky darkens, the curtain in the temple tears, and silence falls. There will be no music, no voiceover, just silence, because the world has just lost its savior. The Chosen is preparing us for that silence now, layering each episode with more dread, more tension, more sorrow. And when that moment finally arrives, it will hit like a wave, and we will drown in it. But the most terrifying part of this season isn't the pain, it's the love. Because The Chosen reminds us again and again that Jesus chose this. He walked into this agony willingly. Every step was a choice, every wound a sacrifice. And it's that love, so fierce, so pure, that makes it all the more painful. Because we're not just witnessing a tragedy. we're witnessing the deepest act of love in human history. And somehow, that's harder to bear than the suffering itself, because it means this wasn't meaningless, this wasn't random, it was for us. And when Jesus cries out, "It is finished," it won't just be a line. It will be the cry that changed the world and broke our hearts. There's something deeply unsettling about the way the chosen is slowly revealing these final moments. They're not rushing it. They're letting it sink in, like a slow, suffocating wave of grief that tightens around your chest a little more with every update. And now, with new behind-the-scenes images and reports from the set, we're starting to realize just how far the show is willing to go. The Crucifixion isn't being filmed on a soundstage or tucked away in some studio corner. No, they've built an entire hill, a desolate, wind-beaten hill, with crosses looming in the distance like ghosts. The actors aren't just performing, they're living in the weight of it. Extras playing Roman soldiers reportedly had to carry their own crosses during the scenes, their shoulders bruised from the raw wood, their breath visible in the cold morning air. One of them said he couldn't stop shaking, not from the cold, but from the emotion. "You could hear the crying," he said, even though the cameras weren't rolling. But perhaps the most devastating moment came when the crew filmed the thieves on either side of Jesus. In a series that rarely lingers on minor characters, The Chosen is taking the time to show the pain of these two condemned men. Because one of them, the one who asks Jesus to remember him, isn't just a side story. He's a symbol of all of us. A soul, broken and unworthy, clinging to hope in the final breath. And Jesus turns to him, bleeding, dying, and promises paradise. That, one moment, it's the crack in the darkness, the single beam of light. And viewers who were lucky enough to see early footage say they were completely undone. Because in the middle of agony, The Chosen reminds us of mercy. And that's what hurts the most. The mercy of a dying savior is somehow more painful than his suffering. Even the technical choices are turning this into a heartbreak you can't look away from. The makeup team has reportedly spent hours every day preparing Jonathan Rumi for the crucifixion scenes. Layers of blood, bruising, torn flesh, dirt, and sweat are applied by hand. They're not relying on visual effects here. What you'll see on screen, every wound, every cut, every moment of agony, is real, crafted meticulously to reflect the suffering described in Scripture. The crown of thorns, hand-woven and pressed into his forehead. The purple robe, tattered, blood-soaked, and ripped from his shoulders. This is not just acting. This is immersion into pain. And Jonathan has already admitted that filming these scenes has been emotionally and spiritually crushing. He said in interviews that he can't sleep, that the weight of it stays with him even when the cameras stop rolling. And maybe that's the point. Maybe. The Chosen wants us all to feel that weight, just for a moment. There's also a scene coming that fans are both dreading and anticipating. The moment Jesus looks out at the crowd and sees no one. The same crowds that once cheered him, healed by his touch, fed by his miracles, are gone. Only a handful remain: Mary, John, a few women. The rest have either turned their backs or chosen to remain hidden. And as Jesus hangs there, eyes swollen, lips cracked, he will feel the crushing loneliness of betrayal, the silence of abandonment, and we'll feel it too. Because how many times have we been in that crowd? How many times have we looked away? The Chosen is forcing us to ask that question, not with lectures, not with sermons, but with stillness, with silence, with pain. And as the crucifixion draws near, one character's arc is going to reach its most tragic conclusion: Judas. In the latest footage, we saw him looking hollow, pale, almost inhuman. He's already slipping away from the world, the guilt of his betrayal devouring him from the inside out. And soon, we know what's coming. The field, the rope, the silence. The Chosen isn't just going to show us his fall, it's going to make us feel it. Because Judas didn't just betray Jesus, he betrayed himself. And that's a weight too heavy for one man to bear. It's likely we'll see flashbacks of his final moments, maybe even a confrontation with Peter or another disciple. But whatever happens, one thing is clear: Season 6 is not interested in shielding us from the darkness. It's leading us into it, one step at a time. We're not ready. We say we are, but we're not. Every image, every leak, every whispered report from the set only confirms it. The Chosen is about to give us a crucifixion like we've never seen before. Not because of the violence, not because of the blood, but because of the unbearable love behind it. This isn't just the end of a season.